A lot of people, are looking towards Prince William to, well, shall we say, organise the palace. I'm being kind when I say that. I mean, what you have to remember is Prince William is looking out for what happens for him and his family and the future of the monarchy. There lies your big story. What you have to think about with the likes of, say, the Sussexes over in Montecito is they're looking for the here and now, the moment that they can seize an opportunity. And as I told you recently, Harry and Meghan, it's very much a spinning globe. They don't know what to do with themselves because clearly she's just a former actress and he's never really had to put himself into action to come up with anything. Everybody else has done that for him. So she feels, I've been told from ex-staff members, that every idea that she sort of resonates and comes up with and everything and says this is what we should do, when it goes wrong, there's this sort of fight between them as if, well, what are you coming up with? And as I've told you many times, Prince Harry only knows one thing. He knows how to be Prince Harry. And that involves going round, shaking hands with people, meeting people, offering encouraging words, hugs, chats, that sort of stuff. You get the picture. Moving forward, this is where it's starting to really unravel because finally somebody's taking control of their many lives. As ever, let me explain. Good to see you, thank you, and welcome back as ever for joining me today. Just about to start raining, I can tell you, chums, so yeah, we better crack on. You know what it's like, I've told you this before, you get the stand up and you think, right, great. And then of course it's lovely. I've just had a lovely group of people saying, Neil, can we watch you film? And I said, listen, I don't mind that at all, it doesn't bother me. But the thing is, that when you start to get a crowd, I want to share these stories with you first. Suddenly they start filming, then they want to do things, you know what I'm saying. And also you have to be careful, don't you? Absolutely. You don't know who these people are. I was filming the other night and somebody came up and started clicking away. And when I asked him, he just was mute. I mean, you've got to be very careful out here. Absolutely. Don't worry, chums, I'm well protected though. Let's get back to your royal story of the day. Prince Harry never learns, in my opinion, just never, ever, ever learns because clearly, he's operating under the thumbscrew of Meghan Markle. You see, when he went over to Canada a couple of weeks ago now, this wasn't, we all knew he's just insanely jealous of his elder brother, His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales. And he thinks, I can do that. I'm going to remind the world that I was the most popular one. I was the one that had a lot of fun and all of that sort of stuff. Now, there was good intention, right? I would say that. This is where he comes alive. He wanted to let people know, the sort of thing. However, once again, it spectacularly backfired. And this is because finally, after all of that period, there was investigations into who came up with this visit, who agreed it, where did they agree it and how and all that sort of stuff. Now, Harry's pointed out, as I've said this in a number of videos, that he's offered previously to share his diary with, these people inside the palace so that if there's any conflict, he would consider, right? He would consider whether he carried on or whether he should let the royal family, So you can imagine Catherine at home thinking, shall I go and visit, on Armistice Day, or will Harry be doing, I better check in. It's ridiculous. But again, you can see this is Meghan's paws all over this. Now what's happened is the palace have wanted and asked exactly who organised this trip to Canada, when and who did you speak to? Now, as a matter of courtesy, Prince Harry was supposed to contact the palace and indeed Kensington Palace, Buckingham Palace, and say this is the plan, these are the times. Now they've double checked and this is where this is, it is going to explode because this is not going away. Now they've checked and they've checked with Canada and there is nowhere anybody suggesting at this point that they can find a record of who they spoke to and when. They've gone back to Prince Harry and at the time of recording this, he hasn't responded. Now, the line will be one of his team did it. And it's very easy to say, isn't it? And again, I have to say allegedly, once a team's gone or they're fired or you walked out or whatever, you can just get away with it by saying, well, they're not here or then, whatever. But the problem that you've now got, and this is the thing that's not going to go away, and this is going to become an irritant to the Prince of Wales because Harry, driven on by Meghan, will continue to do this. They're going to pop up just at the most pivotal moments. Is there shop stuff? Her carol concert? They'll want to make sure that they can drive the force away. Now, my advice, I would say to the Prince of Wales, if I was looking after his communications, don't bother. You've proven that you are far more popular and you've got far more drive. We saw that with Dancing with the Stars, with Children in Need. Catherine announces it and it's all over the world. It's not too much of a problem. It's an irritant, but it's not a problem. What the problem's going to be is each and every time Harry and Meghan do this, they show their desperation, their egos begin to show. They don't get the headlines that they want, but what they do get is a lot of backlash. And that's probably, in their mind, far worse. Meghan was seething that her As Ever launch didn't get the front page thing that Catherine did for her charitable work. But this is exactly why people like the royals, and they're not really that bothered about former celebrities. That's showbiz, as they say. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.